Drop the point. Drop the point. Drop the point. Drop the point. No zero ham bone. Gonna drop the point. Drop the point. No zero ham bone. What is the point? Drop the point.
Hello world and welcome back to another episode of Drop the Point. I am Hambone and I'm joined by none other than Xero. What up, Xero?
What up, man?
Oh, living the dream over here, sieging my little fingers out and just playing nothing but Siege lately. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, how long did we play last night? I mean, it was hours.
Yeah, hours.
Several
we started
hours.
at like 7 p.m. and took a break here and there, but we went from like 7 until 7 your time.
Yeah.
So that's like a good 10 hours. Yeah, we played a lot of Siege. And we are going to talk a little bit more about Siege. And don't worry, people, we're also going to talk a little bit about Destiny and something they should be doing for year 2. But before we jump into that, if you want to send us any topics or questions, you can send those to onpoint@aimassistgaming.com, or you can tweet them to us by following us on Twitter @aimassistgaming, and we'll answer your questions and tweet you back. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into this week's episode. So Xero, when we talked a couple weeks ago about Siege and how much we were enjoying it, we said this is going to be an MLG sponsored game. Like, it's gonna happen. And here we are, a month after launch?
Yep.
And a month after launch, it is now an official game on console that is being supported by MLG and Game Battles. And that is impressive. It's on the list. How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, just watching like when they would do the developer, they had like a tournament when they were introducing us to Siege. And you could see that they built this game to be ready for esports. So I don't want to say this the wrong way. Like, I'm not impressed. Like, I'm impressed with what they've done, but I guess I'm just saying the wrong word here. I knew it was going to happen. I'm not surprised.
Right.
That's what I was looking for. Not surprised. I'm not surprised that it's happened. They made it very clear that they were aiming for esports. This was an esport game. And I'm glad it is because I love it and I think it deserves to be. I think last night we played some of the sweatiest matches in casual that we've ever played in this game, and the meta of this game is still evolving, and a lot of things are changing. And we said that on the Siege the Show podcast that we recorded the other night. For all y'all that didn't hear it,
Right? No, dude, I totally agree that this game, I mean, it has a way of capturing you in its casual play just to get the heart racing, the heart pounding. And I don't want to make it sound like that's something that I've never felt before, but the consistency of feeling it and the way I feel it is definitely new and unique for me to this game. And even just as a casual player, the winning and the losing, the way you feel this game when you play it, it's the way gaming should be, and I think what it was supposed to be when it originated. You know, you don't have all these assistances like supers and kill streaks and stuff like that. It's really just, I'm a better shot than you. We're going to win this round.
Yeah, my tactics are better than yours. Something.
Right.
And the great thing is a lot of times, how many times have you done something and then immediately been like, I should have played it this way?
Yeah.
Like, you lose a
Absolutely.
round, you could have clutched it, but you're like, I should have played it this way. I mean, last night we had a round where hostage, I got outside, there was 3 guys left. I took down 2, and it was 1v1, and the guy got out with hostage. I dropped him, and I couldn't get around the corner, and then once that other guy killed me, I didn't clutch it. I was like, God, that should have been such a good clutch, and if I just did this.
Right.
So the moment to moment, like, it's great because there's that moment where it's 5v5, you're in the action phase, you just came out of preparation phase, and it's like being a kid. Like, the possibilities are endless. What's going to happen this round? Everything, because we have 5v5. But then something may happen, and now it's 2v5, and then that heart starts pumping a little bit faster, and you're like, okay, buckle down, let's think about how we do this now. and then maybe it's 1v4, and then you're like, oh god, and then you get those 2 kills, and it's 1v2, and you're like, that heart's racing, and you're like, I got this, I know exactly where they're at, I know what I'm gonna do. It's just like you said, it's not that I've never had this in a game before, but this game offers it on platters over and over and over again. And that's what hooks you in, because you get those nights where you're just clutching some things and you're just like, man, I'm on fire tonight, dude. I can't get off. I can't get off this.
I can't stop playing this game. And that's been the general reaction that I've seen from even famous YouTubers who were skeptical of the game or kind of down on it when it started. And obviously it still has its issues, but what game doesn't? But it's so addicting. It's ridiculous, which brings me to my next question. Do you think it has a substantial future as an MLG supported game, or is this like a flame? Just poof, it's here for a little bit and it'll be gone by March or so?
No, I think this absolutely has a good hold, like on something that could be, a big thing in esports, because, I mean, if you look at League of Legends, the biggest esport, if we're talking esports, it's played on one map. Hundreds, not hundreds, but over 100 champions. And the champions are what provide the variety. Mm-hmm. In this game, obviously it's not going to be played on one map. But to see, some of the game modes that end up coming out, some of the new operators that end up coming out, I really feel like you could just have hostage, or just have the bombs, or just have the secure, and just play that on the different maps, and that would be good enough. And just add the operators like League of Legends does with champions to kind of increase the variety in the mechanics of the game that you see played by the pros.
Right.
So,
no, yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah, I think that they definitely have a really good system here, and I really hope, I'm so glad to see, okay, MLG's picking them up, Game Battles is picking them up, and they're getting that steam in the esports area, because, there's a lot of talk that their sales are soft right now as far as initial release. And we know with games, normally it's, you want the huge release so you can sell a bunch of copies, and then it kind of dwindles down that, from there. And it's hard to ever really outsell the first couple of weeks of a game. So I'm hoping that this is a different story, one of the abnormal stories where this game does better as it goes along. And I hope a lot of people pick it up. I honestly think that at some point they should make it free to play. But that's another episode. We'll talk about that on another episode. But
you mentioned a game that picks up steam. Battlefield 4 was similar to that, because it had
a lot of bad
astronomical errors going into it from launch that a lot of people were like, not happening. And it even had the help of PS4 coming out and the free upgrade from your PS3 and carry your character over to PS4. And it still didn't do so well until months down the road, like 4 or 5 months in, it actually picked up sales numbers and they got some of the netcode stuff figured out, and it actually picked up some tremendous steam and is still being played today. Yeah. So hopefully this game has a similar story. But what I want to know is, I'm looking at the list right now on Game Battles on Major League Gaming.com, and I just want to shout out some of the games that are being supported by them right now. NBA 2K16. Obviously, we know there's a huge market for sports tournaments and stuff like that. Rocket League, one of our beloved favorites from right around House of Wolves for Destiny to match that up, is actually a tournament. Metal Gear Solid. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is on the list. Battlefield Hardline is on the list. Mortal Kombat, Grand Theft Auto, Rory McIlroy's PGA Tour is on the list. But what's not on this list is Destiny. How is it that a game like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater can be an MLG-supported game, and Destiny, which does have some element of sweatiness when you get into trials, isn't on here? And before you answer, I heard a lot of people talk about in order for a game to be supported by them, they had to have a spectator mode. Well, the first tournament for Siege is this Friday, and spectator mode won't be releasing for Siege until sometime in 2016. So it doesn't have a spectator mode, yet it's still being supported. So why else couldn't Destiny be on this list?
Well, see, right there, I mean, Siege has... They know spectator mode is coming, so that might be a thing for them. Like, they're like, okay, well, at least we know. That my biggest thing about why Destiny isn't being played esports-wise, and why I don't think it will be anytime soon, is because I don't think Bungie is making the push for it to be an esport. They want, I think they want a healthy competition in their Crucible and all that. They want to kind of make you feel the sweatiness in their Crucible by having Iron Banner, having Trials of Osiris and all that. But until they have custom games is over spectator mode. Like, I don't care if a game has spectator mode, but if it doesn't have custom games, like the thing that every game that's going to be played in any kind of competitive play is either it needs to be like League of Legends, where the entire game is designed around competitive play, kind of like Siege, or B, it needs to be able to have a custom games where they can then, like MLG can go in. They can be like, okay, on this map, there's, these things happen, or, if there's weapon spawns on the map, they can change what weapon spawns on the map. Whatever, critiques they want to do to the already, the game systems. All of the games you mentioned have some way of setting up a game type, setting up a variant, and all that. And all those games require skill. Not to say Destiny does not require skill, but there's no custom games, and Bungie doesn't seem to push esports. They don't seem to have an interest in esports, which is crazy to me because esports is on the verge right now. This is the time, if ever you wanted to be esports. I mean, 5 years ago, it was cool to the gamer nerds to be at an MLG event and watch their favorite team play and all that. Now, everybody's watching it. I mean, there's cable TV stations that are picking up esports and going to be broadcasting esports tournaments on cable TV because it's a thing. It's here. It's real. It's big. I mean, Mark Cuban was at a League of Legends tournament talking about esports is sports. It is a sport. It is the real deal. And if Mark Cuban's saying it, then I'm behind Mark Cuban saying that dude just said that.
Yeah, if the Cubes are saying it, it must be true. So okay, so you said custom games, right?
Right.
So Destiny, is that something that's within their capability? Okay, we're not getting any DLC for year 2. But is this something that could bring you back if Destiny introduced custom games, got themselves on game battles? Do you see that kind of bolstering the community, or is it too late, too little? Too little, too late, I should say.
Well, I think that Destiny underrates the pro play, because the big deal is there might be people that listen to this episode and say, well, I just like playing Destiny for this, that, and the other. I like trade with my clan, this, that. That's it. I don't care about esports, so why do I care? I don't need it to be an esport. But the thing is esports draws in more people, because you got to think of the age group of gamers. If kids are seeing it, young adults, all that, they see their favorite pro teams go in and pull some stuff off in Destiny or Siege or whatever game they like to watch esports-wise, they then want to do that in-game. And then they play it. And some of those people are going to be content creators, so they're going to be making content around Destiny, which is going to bring in people who do not play Destiny to play Destiny. So the more, it's just one of those marketing things. Like, you got to look at it like esports is a big thing because it's a lot of marketing for your game. And that will get people that make content excited to play that game because they're seeing the pros do stuff. And then they'll play the game and make content for the game. So more promotion for your game. And then you start getting into, millions and millions and millions of people playing. That's why I think it's really weird. Like, Destiny talks about registered users. And they don't really define what a registered user is.
Right.
And so it's kind of misleading on how many people. I mean, they said at one point, I think I read that there's like 25 million registered users on Destiny. And it's like, well, what does that number mean? That's not units sold. That's not, that doesn't tell us that there's 25 million people playing 3 days a week. So I don't know. Right. I would like to see them. I'd love to see what their actual server numbers are. I'm sure it's, pretty high. But I don't think that if you took the numbers today, if you were to say, these are the numbers, here's the real numbers, how many people are playing Destiny, how many hours a week, I don't think if you snapshotted those numbers and then really made a heavy focus on having an esports scene in a year or two, you wouldn't see an increase in numbers just by focusing on esports.
Right. Okay. So, cutting the hypotheticals, do you think they will bring us custom games while we wait for Destiny 2?
I don't think they'll bring it. If we're lucky, Destiny 2 will have it.
If we're lucky.
I don't think they're like, because all of us Halo fans want to see custom games, and not just in the way of saying like, hey, we're going to bring in all our buddies, we're going to play a game of Destiny. Like, we want custom games like Forge World. We want to be able to make some maps. We want to be able to make some game modes, because Bungie has done those things in the past, and there's no reason for them to not do it now. Like, they created a game from the ground up that was different than Halo because it was a vision they had that Microsoft was never going to let them do, under that banner. As long as they were there, they're going to make Halo games. Now they're getting to make the game they want to make with Activision, and maybe Activision's had some influence to make it a way that they didn't necessarily want to do it, but overall they can do what they want to do, and some of their roots should stick around. They had really good ideas, making your own maps, making your own game modes, having custom games, having ranked matchmaking. I mean, these are things they pioneered on console. It's insane that they've walked away from all those things. It's like all these things that made your first blockbuster series incredibly, popular. You walked away from all of it. Like, you're still a great shooter. You know how to make a good shooter. It feels good. It's fun to shoot guns. It's fun to move around the maps. Definitely know how to make good shooters. Just give us what you've innovated on console.
I agree, man. It's time. The time is now. You have nothing but loyalists playing the game at this point. So it would seem to me, Bungie, that this is the time for you to bring us custom games and get yourself on game battles. Why is this already not a thing? But in the meantime, we will be playing Siege. I'll still be playing Destiny, but I'll be playing it casually, as it seems Bungie intends for us to play it. Until then, just play something else if you really want that, if you have that competitive itch. I mean, you saw the games that are on here. You could play Rocket League, for crying out loud, and you could do some MLG stuff with
Rocket League, even if you're not.
Rocket League is amazing. Yeah, even if you're not doing it competitively, play that game because it is very much a fun game. But that's going to do it for us today, guys. Leave your comments down below. Let us know if something like custom games is on your radar for Destiny in year 2 before we get to Destiny 2. And what you think about the whole MLG thing. Is it a good way to keep a franchise alive, or is it really for a select few people in the community that enjoy playing competitively? If you like these types of conversations, don't forget to check us out on iTunes. Download all of our shows. We have this show, Drop the Point, coming out on Tuesdays on iTunes. We have Siege the Show coming out on Wednesdays on iTunes. And the podcast itself, the Aimcast, the official Aimcast, comes out every Monday morning so that you can hear all about Destiny and every other game that we're playing at the time. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter and follow us on all of our different social medias. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you when we see you.
Don't forget to watch 90 Seconds with No Zero.
Oh, I forgot about 90 Seconds with No. Everybody go watch 90 Seconds with No. Bye.
Peace.